Hello and welcome, thank you for tuning in. In today's video, I'm going to go through the 5 biggest mistakes when it comes to measuring your bra size with a tape measure. But before I get started, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. It helps get this little channel out there in front of more women so I can really help people find the fit that they're looking for. Back to today's video. As a bra fitter, a bra boutique owner, and owner of an online website, I get to see and I get to speak to a lot of ladies. And we talk about lots of different things, but one of the things we talk a lot about is why do we use a tape measure? What's the science behind it? And what are the mistakes that are made when it comes to using a tape measure to find your bra size? Well, I have a story. I have lots of stories for you. Using a tape measure should always be your first port of call when it comes to finding your bra size. And the reason that you should use a tape measure, and the reason that most bra fitters use a tape measure, is it gives us a starting point. So if somebody comes into my boutique in San Diego for the first time and they have no idea what size they are, I always pull out a tape measure and I'll take the 2 measurements and I use that as my guide. And that's all I do, is use that as my starting reference point. Where this can become a problem and where mistakes can lead are if you're trying to use a tape measure and you're trying to measure your bra size with a ill-fitting bra on, or you've got a molded padded bra on, or you've got no bra on. This is what I get a lot of. I get people saying, well, can I not just measure with no bra on? The answer's no, and the reason being is that you're trying to measure your ribcage measurements, and if you've got no bra on and you might have pendulous breasts, your breasts are going to sit down here. How do you then measure the fullest part of your breast? How do you get that breast tissue up here to be able to measure round? Because this is where a bra sits. So the reason that we want you to get your breasts up here is that it gives us an idea of how the fullest part is sitting. And it gives me that measurement to work with. If they're down here and they're laying flat, it's not going to give me the correct or even a starting measurement. It's going to be way off. And I'm actually thinking of doing a video on measuring bra sizes in different styles of bras, just so I can show you what happens when you measure in these different sizes of bras. So keep tuned for that, because I think I'm going to film that. I think that would be of interest to a lot of ladies and it would be a very visual thing. So that's the first mistake that I see, is that people are like, I'll measure in a compression sports bra, and the compression sports bra is doing this to your boobs and it's flattening them out, so that when you measure them and you've put this tape measure to these breasts that are flattened out, when you go and try, you do the calculations and you've calculated your cup size is a B, and really when it's a D because you've compressed the breast tissue and squashed it and flattened it and the measurements are off. So that's why it's really important to have a somewhat correctly fitted bra. Same with a padded bra. If you're wearing a padded bra, it's gonna add inches to your measurements, which again is just gonna skew your start point. But if you're fine with it skewing your start point and you're either in a boutique setting or you've bought 6 or 7 different sizes, well, that's fine, because as soon as you put the first bra on, you'll know whether it's working or not, and you'll know where to make your adjustments, whether you adjust the band up or down, whether you adjust the cup up or down. And what I always say is that start with fixing one problem at a time. Do not try and adjust the band and the cup. What I mean by this, let me explain. Let me go back to the beginning. So you've got a bra on, and for instance, it's a 38C, and the band is too big and the cups are too small as well. What I would say is, don't try to make the adjustment if you can, in the band and the cup at the same time. Get the band fitting right first. So if you're a 38C and that band is too big, go to a 36C. Then if the band is fitting there, let's then take a look at the cups. Are the cups fitting? Are they too big? Are they too small? Then you can decide where you go with the cups. And that's what I mean by making the adjustments one at a time. And that's what we tend to do in store, is that we will make those adjustments one at a time. Or because I know what I'm doing, I can make the adjustments at the same time, but I've done this for a long time. So if you're struggling with that, just do it one at a time. Measuring too low around the rib cage. So you've got your tape measure, you've got all of these great intentions, and you take your measurement and you measure down here. And you're almost at your waist, and you're using that as your start point. Again, it's gonna skew your figures. You're way too low. You need to get right up here, just below where your breasts and your bra stops. That's where you want to be measuring. You don't even want to be measuring on top of the bra that you're wearing, because if you do that, again, the tape measure is not lying flat on your chest wall. You're measuring your bra size, you're using your tape measure, and you're doing this on your own. And you have not done it in front of a mirror, and you think the tape measure's straight, when in actual fact, it's a little wonky, a little cockeyed, as we'd say. And the tape measure might be going up in the back or down in the back. Again, this can affect, and not can, does affect the reading that you're getting. So you need that tape measure to be straight across the body. So if you're struggling with this, get somebody to help you. You know, you want that tape measure to be quite firm. You still want to be able to breathe, so make sure you can breathe, but make sure that when you are breathing and measuring, that tape measure is not moving. Because sometimes I have seen that where the tape measure moves, and it happens quite a lot if you're not taking notice of this. The next thing I get asked a lot is, and I get this in the comments a lot from you ladies, and I have to say thank you so much for commenting, and thank you for reaching out. I really appreciate it, and it really helps me know that this channel is helping all you ladies. The thing I get a lot is, well, I heard that I should add 4 inches to an even measurement of the band and 5 inches to an odd measurement of the band. So you've taken your band measurement and it's 36. It's an even number. In the old school days, they advised women that if you took that measurement, you should then add 4 inches. So a 36 band, you would then be wearing a 40 band. If you measured 35, you'd add 5 inches, so you would be a 40 band. Do not, I repeat, do not do this. There is no need for this anymore at all. All that will happen is if you attempt to do this old school way of measuring bras, then your band is going to be like a slingshot and it's going to be way too big. 4 inches in the band is absolute lunacy, and I do not know where that came from, and I should really know as a bra fitter why they used to advise this. And as a certified mastectomy fitter, when I went to do my training, which was only 3-4 years ago, they were still telling us as trainees that we had to do this in order to pass the course. And it was crazy because you would do it and it was so big. The bands are so big on people, and it was like, this doesn't fit. This is not remotely offering any support. But that was the old school way of doing it. You don't need to do that anymore. Whatever you measure in inches around your band is your starting bra size. Now you can get into the whole, well, I'm measuring 34, but I find a 34 too tight. Well, then yes, you can go up in a band size and see if that works for you. But in effect, by adding 4 or 5 inches, what you're actually doing is going up 2 band sizes straight away, which is mind-blowing. Don't do it. The biggest mistake that I see when it comes to using a tape measure is thinking that those two numbers, the band size and the cup size number that you've got, is the be-all, end-all, end point. And it's not. It's actually the start point. It's just the beginning of your journey to find a correct size and a correctly fitting bra. With those two numbers, it gives you that starting point. It would be an end point if all bras were made the same, if all manufacturers had the same molds, the same casts. A 32 was a 32, irrespective of manufacturer. A 32C or a 38D was the same measurements with every supplier, with every vendor, with every brand. But it's not. It is just a starting point. So if you have that in your head, that you have the start of the size that you are, that is fantastic, because from there you can then work out what size is going to work for you, what shape's going to work for you, and you start with one well-fitting bra, and then you can move on to different brands and different styles. But you start with one, get that right, and if necessary, you can buy more than one in that same brand, in that same style, to get you started. And then you can start expanding your bra capsule. If this is far too complicated, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, I can't do this, I've tried it, the measurements are coming out incorrectly, every time I take a measurement it's different. Well, you can arrange a virtual fitting with me. I offer virtual fittings where I go through the whole entire process with you. I fit you virtually via Zoom. I will send you bras. We'll go through the fit of the bras. We'll talk about what's working, what's not. We'll basically have a fitting, but it's virtually. If you want to come into the store in San Diego, you can do, and we are happy to help you there. It's whatever works for you and whatever you feel comfortable doing. I will leave all the information below. I hope this video helped. I hope it made sense. If it did, please like, subscribe, comment below. And until next time, thank you and goodbye.